Happiness is not postponed, it's created in the present moment. We live in a world where people often push happiness into the distance, attaching it to future events, possessions, or milestones. They say to themselves, "When I get that promotion, then I'll be happy. When I move into that new house, then I'll be happy. When I finally reach my goals, then I'll be happy." But the truth is, happiness is not something that waits for you at the end of the road. It is something you create along the way. Each moment we live is a chance to experience joy if only we choose to recognize it. Happiness begins with awareness. It comes from realizing that this moment, right now, is your life. Not the one you are waiting for, not the one you are working toward, but the one unfolding this very second. If you fail to see it, life will pass in a blur of waiting, of chasing, of always reaching but never arriving. To create happiness in the present, you must decide to look for it in the ordinary, the laughter of a child, the taste of a good meal, the comfort of a conversation with someone you trust, the satisfaction of giving your best effort. The habit of postponing happiness creates a cycle where joy is always out of reach. You can break that cycle by practicing gratitude and presence, by choosing to focus not on what is missing but on what is already here. The power lies in perspective, in shifting your attention from lack to abundance, from longing to appreciation. When you learn to cultivate joy in the small and simple things, you discover that happiness was never waiting in the distance. It was available to you all along. You said gratitude turns the ordinary into extraordinary. Expand it in 400 words and never add any ending sentence. ChatGPT said gratitude turns the ordinary into extraordinary. It is the quiet force that shifts perception and gives depth to life's simplest experiences. When one begins to practice gratitude, even the most routine moments carry weight and meaning. A sunrise is no longer just the rising of the sun. It becomes a daily reminder of renewal and possibility. A meal is not merely food on the table, it is nourishment, effort, and care that went into its preparation. Gratitude works like a lens. It sharpens vision, so you begin to see the hidden richness within what you once overlooked. Most people search endlessly for the extraordinary, believing it can only be found in rare achievements or grand experiences. Yet the extraordinary is hidden in plain sight, scattered throughout ordinary days. It waits in the warmth of a familiar voice, in the security of having a place to rest, in the simple freedom of being alive. Without gratitude, these things pass unnoticed and life appears dull, repetitive, and incomplete. With gratitude, the same life feels abundant, full, and rewarding. Gratitude is not about denying difficulties or pretending challenges do not exist. It is about recognizing that even within struggle, there are elements of goodness to be acknowledged. When you face a setback, gratitude allows you to see the lesson learned, the strength gained, or the support offered by those around you. It shifts focus from despair to resilience, from emptiness to potential. This shift is what transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, for it reframes reality in a way that empowers rather than diminishes. Practicing gratitude requires intention. It is choosing to pause and notice, to reflect on what is already present instead of waiting for something more. Writing down what you appreciate each day, expressing thanks to others, or simply pausing to acknowledge the moment are practices that cultivate a grateful mindset. Over time, this mindset becomes natural, and you begin to live with a heightened awareness of life's richness. Through gratitude, the ordinary details of daily existence, once overlooked, become sources of joy, meaning, and fulfillment. You said peace of mind is found in simplicity, not in excess. Expand it in 500 words and never add any ending sentence. ChatGPT said peace of mind is found in simplicity, not in excess. We live in a culture that often measures success by accumulation. More possessions, more achievements, more recognition. Yet with each layer of excess, life tends to grow more complicated, more cluttered, and more demanding. The mind, rather than being free, becomes weighed down by the endless pursuit of more. Simplicity, on the other hand, strips away the noise and allows space for clarity, calm, and focus. It is not about deprivation but about removing the unnecessary so that what truly matters can be fully experienced. When life is simplified, decisions become clearer. Instead of being distracted by dozens of competing desires, you begin to recognize what aligns with your values and what doesn't. Possessions, responsibilities, and commitments are no longer measured by quantity but by meaning. A person who owns fewer things often appreciates them more deeply. A schedule with more space creates room for reflection, for connection, and for rest. Simplicity does not shrink life, it expands it because it clears the path for genuine fulfillment. Excess, by contrast, tends to rob people of peace. The more one accumulates, the more one must protect, manage, and maintain. What was once a source of joy quickly becomes a source of stress. A larger home requires more upkeep, a busier schedule allows less breathing room, and the constant chase for status keeps the mind restless and unsatisfied. Excess creates a cycle where the goalposts of contentment are always moving and peace is always postponed. Simplicity offers another way. It invites one to slow down, to appreciate the beauty of ordinary moments, and to cultivate a life that is lighter and freer. Peace of mind is not found in the volume of what you own or achieve, but in the alignment of your life with your true needs. A simple walk, a meaningful conversation, or time spent in silence can bring more calm and satisfaction than the most extravagant possessions. By embracing simplicity, you reclaim your time, your energy, and your mental space. To cultivate simplicity, one must practice discernment, asking what adds genuine value and what only creates distraction. It may mean decluttering physical spaces, reducing commitment, or saying no to opportunities that don't resonate with your deeper purpose. It may mean shifting focus from external approval to internal alignment, from endless striving to mindful living. Each step toward simplicity is a step toward peace, because it lightens the weight carried in both body and mind. Peace of mind has never been the result of excess. It is born out of clarity, balance, and freedom from unnecessary burdens. Simplicity is the key that opens the door to that peace, and it is available to anyone willing to choose less of what does not matter and more of what truly does. You said your attitude colors every experience you have. Expand it in 500 words and never add any ending sentence. ChatGPT said your attitude colors every experience you have. It acts as the lens through which you interpret the world, shaping not only what you see but how you feel about it. Two people can encounter the same event. One sees frustration, the other sees opportunity. The difference lies not in the circumstances but in the attitude they bring to it. A positive attitude does not erase difficulties, but it transforms the way you respond to them. It allows you to face challenges with resilience, setbacks with patience, and ordinary moments with appreciation. Attitude is more powerful than conditions. While you may not always control what happens, you can always control how you interpret what happens. A storm may ruin a picnic, but it can also nourish the earth. A rejection may sting, but it may also point you toward a better opportunity. The same reality produces vastly different experiences depending on the mindset with which it is approached. Your attitude becomes the deciding factor between defeat and growth, between stress and peace, between scarcity and abundance. Consider how attitude influences relationships. When you approach others with kindness, patience, and openness, you create connections that are warm and meaningful. But if you bring suspicion, anger, or indifference, the same interactions can feel tense or hollow. The people around you often respond in kind to the attitude you project, which means your inner state has a way of shaping your outer world. A smile can invite trust, while a scowl can build walls. In this way, attitude is not merely internal. It spills outward, affecting the quality of your entire environment. Your attitude also colors your perception of self. A person with a constructive outlook sees mistakes as lessons, while someone with a negative outlook interprets the same mistakes as proof of inadequacy. Over time, these perspectives shape confidence, resilience, and the willingness to try again. A healthy attitude fuels persistence, while a destructive one breeds resignation. The path you walk is not determined only by your abilities, but by the spirit with which you use them. Cultivating the right attitude requires awareness and choice. It means pausing in the face of difficulty and asking, how will I interpret this? How will I let this affect me? It means training the mind to seek solutions instead of dwelling on problems, to notice blessings instead of complaints, to look for meaning instead of despair. Attitude is not fixed, it is a habit of thought, and like any habit, it can be shaped through practice. By choosing gratitude, optimism, and patience day after day, you strengthen the mental muscles that color every experience with light instead of shadow. In the end, the experiences of your life are not simply defined by events, but by the attitude you carry into them. And that choice is always yours. You said life's small moments are life itself. Expand it in 500 words and never add any ending sentence. ChatGPT said life's small moments are life itself. Too often people look at life as something that will happen in the future, as if the real living will begin after they achieve a certain goal, earn a certain income, or reach a certain stage. Yet life is not waiting in the distance, it is unfolding in the quiet, everyday details. The cup of tea in the morning, the conversation shared with a friend, the sound of laughter, the feel of the wind against your face. These are not interruptions or trivialities, they are the fabric of existence. When you overlook them, you overlook life itself. The danger lies in postponing awareness. Many chase milestones, believing those will define their lives. The new house, the promotion, the recognition from others. But when they finally arrive, the satisfaction is fleeting, and soon the mind begins chasing the next horizon. In this constant pursuit, the present slips away unnoticed. Life then becomes a series of missed moments, a blur of waiting for something grand while ignoring the quiet treasures already at hand. Recognizing that life is contained in the small moments breaks this cycle and brings presence back into each day. Think of how the mind recalls the past. Rarely do we remember only the grand occasions. More often, it is the subtle memories that surface. A smile across a room, a shared meal, the sound of rain while sitting quietly. These moments linger because they carry the essence of living. They reveal that joy does not need to be extraordinary to be real. In fact, the richness of life comes less from dramatic experiences and more from consistent awareness of the simple and the near. Appreciating small moments requires slowing down and paying attention. It asks you to notice the beauty in what seems ordinary, the changing colors of the sky, the kindness of a gesture, the rhythm of breathing when you pause in silence. These details are easily missed in the rush of daily obligations, yet they offer grounding and meaning when you allow yourself to see them. The ability to be present in these instances builds a foundation of peace and contentment that no external achievement can replace. Life is not made of distant destinations but of the steps taken along the way. When you treat each small moment as valuable, you align yourself with the truth that life is happening now. This awareness transforms routine into ritual and monotony into meaning. Folding laundry becomes an act of care, a walk becomes a chance to reflect, and a conversation becomes an exchange of humanity. The extraordinary hides within the ordinary, and it reveals itself only to those willing to notice. Life's small moments are not the background to something greater, they are the essence of living, the place where joy, meaning, and connection reside. You said worry wastes the present, faith enriches it. Expand it in 500 words and never add any ending sentence, ChatGPT said. Worry wastes the present, faith enriches it. Worry is the mind's attempt to control what has not yet happened, to solve problems that may never occur, and to live in tomorrows that do not yet exist. It robs the present moment of peace and burdens the heart with fears of shadows that have not taken form. Each minute spent in worry is a minute lost, a piece of life that could have been lived with awareness, gratitude, or action. Worry adds nothing to the future, yet it subtracts much from today. Faith, on the other hand, releases the grip of worry by shifting focus from uncertainty to trust. Faith does not mean ignoring difficulties or pretending challenges do not exist. It means believing that within you lies the strength to face them, that within life there is order even when you cannot see it, and that solutions have a way of appearing when action is taken with patience and persistence. Faith enriches the present because it allows the mind to rest and the spirit to remain open. It fills the same moment that worry drains, yet with calm instead of anxiety, with hope instead of dread. Worry imagines endless outcomes and holds you hostage to them, leaving you powerless in a maze of what-ifs. Faith accepts uncertainty but focuses attention on what can be done here and now. While worry keeps you circling problems, faith directs you toward progress, however small. It is the difference between staring at a locked door and searching for a key. Faith transforms uncertainty into possibility, while worry magnifies uncertainty into paralysis. Every great achievement has been built by people who chose faith over worry. The farmer plants seeds without certainty of weather, yet he plants because faith tells him growth is possible. The inventor experiments without certainty of success, yet she continues because faith assures her that persistence will yield discovery. Worry would stop both before they began, while faith moves them forward step by step. In this way, faith enriches the present not only with peace but also with momentum. The habit of faith can be cultivated through practice. Gratitude strengthens it by reminding you of what has already gone right in your life. Reflection builds it by showing you how past challenges were overcome. Action feeds it by proving that small steps lead to progress. Where worry demands control over outcomes, faith requires only commitment to effort and trust in the unfolding of events. To live in worry is to surrender the present to fear. To live in faith is to reclaim the present as a place of meaning and strength. Worry squanders your days, while faith enriches them with purpose, direction, and peace. You said, the way you spend your minutes becomes the way you spend your life. Expand it in 500 words and never add any ending sentence, ChatGPT said. The way you spend your minutes becomes the way you spend your life. Each day is composed of countless small fragments of time, and it is within those fragments that the story of your existence is written. People often imagine life as a collection of major milestones, graduations, careers, accomplishments, and celebrations. But those milestones are few compared to the ordinary minutes that quietly shape the whole. How you use a single hour, how you respond to a simple task, how you choose to spend a quiet evening, these decisions accumulate into patterns, and those patterns become the architecture of your destiny. Minutes may seem insignificant, yet they carry immense power. A few minutes spent daily in reflection or study build wisdom over years. A few minutes given to exercise, gratitude, or meaningful conversation create health, resilience, and connection. Conversely, minutes lost to idleness, distraction, or negative thinking slowly erode potential and leave a person wondering where the years have gone. The truth is that time never arrives all at once. It is always handed to us in small installments, and our use of those installments determines the shape of our lives. Consider the way habits are formed. No habit is built in a single moment. It is the repetition of countless small actions performed over time. The way you spend a morning can set the tone for a day, and the way you spend your days sets the tone for your years. Every great accomplishment is nothing more than minutes invested wisely and consistently, while every regret is often the result of minutes neglected or squandered. Life does not ask you to master decades at once. It simply asks you to master the next moment. Awareness of this truth brings responsibility. It means that what you are doing right now matters, not just as an isolated act, but as part of a larger pattern. When you choose to spend minutes on growth, kindness, or learning, you are not just filling time. You are shaping the direction of your life. When you allow minutes to pass unnoticed or wasted, you are shaping it as well, though in ways that may not serve you. This is why presence is essential. Living fully in the present moment ensures that minutes are not overlooked but invested. Even the most ordinary activity, listening attentively, working diligently, pausing to breathe, becomes significant when understood as part of the greater whole. A meaningful life is not the sudden result of one grand decision, but the steady result of countless small choices made with intention. The way you spend your minutes becomes the way you spend your life, for life is not waiting in the distance. It is being constructed in this very moment. With every thought you allow, every action you take, and every choice you make, you said success without joy is failure in disguise. Expand it in 500 words and never add any ending sentence. ChatGPT said, success without joy is failure in disguise. The world often defines success in terms of material wealth, career advancement, recognition, or the accumulation of possessions. Yet history and human experience show us countless examples of people who achieved these outward symbols of success but felt empty inside. To reach the top of the mountain and find no satisfaction there is to realize that the climb, though impressive, has led to the wrong summit. Joy is the true measure of success, for without it, all achievements become hollow and meaningless. Success that lacks joy usually comes from pursuing goals that are not aligned with one's values or deeper purpose. A person may strive tirelessly to meet external expectations, chasing what society praises while ignoring the quiet voice within. They may sacrifice health, relationships, and peace of mind in the process, only to discover that the prize gained does not fill the void left behind. Joy is not found in the mere attainment of goals, but in the fulfillment of meaningful ones, those that resonate with who you are and what you care about most deeply. True joy arises from balance, presence, and purpose. It comes when success is not only about what you achieve, but about how you achieve it. A life that looks successful from the outside can still feel like failure on the inside if it is lived in constant stress, disconnection, or dissatisfaction. Joy ensures that the journey itself is worthwhile, that the effort invested in reaching a goal enriches you rather than depletes you. When joy is present, success is not only measured in outcomes but also in the growth, contribution, and fulfillment experienced along the way. Consider how joy transforms ordinary achievements. A simple accomplishment, like learning a new skill or helping someone in need, may bring more satisfaction than the grandest of titles if it aligns with the heart. Joy magnifies meaning, making even small victories feel significant. Without joy, even the highest honors quickly lose their shine, becoming burdens to maintain rather than blessings to cherish. The pursuit of success should never be separated from the pursuit of joy. To build a career, a family, or a legacy without joy is to construct a house without a foundation. Impressive in appearance but fragile within. Joy is the thread that ties success to fulfillment, the element that makes achievement worth celebrating and life worth living. It is the quiet confirmation that the path you are walking is not only leading you somewhere, but is also allowing you to truly live while you walk it. Success without joy is failure in disguise because joy is the essence of why we strive, why we grow, and why we reach for more. It is not an accessory to success, but its very soul, the element that transforms accomplishment into something deeply human and profoundly worthwhile. You said choose to focus on what you have, not what you lack. Expand it in 600 words and never add any ending sentence. ChatGPT choose to focus on what you have, not what you lack. Human nature often leans toward noticing what is missing rather than appreciating what is already present. A person may have good health, a family, a home, and countless small blessings, yet the mind can fixate on the single thing absent, the goal not yet reached, or the possession someone else holds. This habit of focusing on lack breeds discontent, envy, and restlessness, leaving even abundance feeling insufficient. The shift toward focusing on what you have transforms perception, replacing dissatisfaction with gratitude and scarcity with a sense of fullness. When attention is directed toward what you have, you begin to see the richness of your life as it stands today. The ordinary becomes extraordinary when viewed through appreciation. A glass of clean water, something easily overlooked, becomes a miracle when remembered as a privilege denied to many. The ability to walk freely, to read these words, or to speak to loved ones are gifts of immeasurable worth once recognized. Focusing on what you have awakens a sense of gratitude that elevates even the simplest aspects of living. This shift in focus has a profound impact on emotional well-being. A mind that dwells on lack produces anxiety, frustration, and resentment. Each thought of, "I don't have enough," reinforces a sense of deficiency, even when surrounded by plenty. But when focus is placed on what is already present, the mind produces feelings of contentment and joy. You stop measuring your life by what is missing and begin to measure it by what is here, by the countless things already supporting and enriching your journey. This perspective does not deny ambition, it simply grounds it in appreciation so that growth does not come at the cost of constant dissatisfaction. Consider how relationships are shaped by this principle. When you focus on what you lack in others, you see only flaws, shortcomings, and disappointments. But when you focus on what you have in those relationships, the kindness, the shared moments, the efforts made, you cultivate appreciation and strengthen bonds. The same holds true in personal achievements. By focusing only on what is yet to be done, you diminish the progress already made. By focusing on what you have accomplished, you build confidence and motivation to continue forward. Focusing on what you have also encourages resilience. In times of difficulty, lack is obvious. What has been lost, what is uncertain, what feels out of reach. Yet those who choose to see what remains, what resources are still available, and what lessons are being offered discover strength within the challenge. This perspective does not erase hardship, but it makes endurance possible by showing that even in struggle, something remains to be grateful for. Practical steps can strengthen this habit of focus. Keeping a gratitude journal, where each day you list things you appreciate, trains the mind to notice abundance. Taking a moment each morning to acknowledge even small blessings sets a tone for the day. Expressing thanks to others highlights what they contribute rather than what they fail to provide. Over time, these practices redirect the mind's natural tendency from lack toward abundance. Choosing to focus on what you have creates a life that feels full, no matter the circumstances. It builds peace in the present while still leaving room for growth. It teaches you to live not in constant pursuit of the next possession or milestone, but in recognition of the richness that already surrounds you. And in that recognition, life becomes more than enough. You said happiness grows when shared with others. Expanded in 700 words and never add any ending sentence. ChatGPT said happiness grows when shared with others. At its core, happiness is not meant to be hoarded or locked away. It is a living energy that expands when it flows outward. A smile given to a stranger, a word of encouragement offered to a friend, or a small act of kindness extended to someone in need often brings just as much joy to the giver as it does to the receiver. The reason is simple: human beings are wired for connection, and joy multiplies when it strengthens the bonds that tie us together. When happiness is kept only for oneself, it remains limited. You may feel contentment in private, but it becomes richer when expressed and shared. Think of laughter. Alone, it can feel good, but in the company of others it becomes contagious, echoing and growing in intensity until the entire atmosphere is changed. Joy has this unique quality: it amplifies when exchanged. Just as a flame does not diminish by lighting another candle, your happiness does not lessen when given, it multiplies. Consider the way relationships flourish when happiness is shared. Celebrating another's achievement, showing genuine enthusiasm for their success, or simply being present in their moments of joy strengthens the bond of trust and love. It reminds both people that life is not a solitary journey but a shared experience. By participating in the happiness of others, you not only enrich their lives but also add depth to your own. A friendship deepens, a family strengthens, and a community grows more united when happiness is treated as a collective treasure rather than a private possession. Sharing happiness does not require grand gestures. Often it is the small things that create the greatest ripple effects. A note of gratitude, a listening ear, or a few minutes of genuine attention can uplift someone's day and remind them that they are not alone. The act of giving joy through kindness, encouragement, or simple presence becomes a gift to both people. The receiver feels valued while the giver experiences the fulfillment that comes from contributing positively to another's life. In this way, happiness grows not by chance but by conscious choice to let it flow outward. There is also a deeper truth: happiness shared often returns multiplied. A person who offers kindness often receives kindness in return. A smile opens doors, an encouraging word fosters encouragement, and generosity creates a cycle of abundance. Even when happiness is given without expectation, life has a way of returning it, sometimes through others, sometimes through the quiet satisfaction of knowing you have made a difference. This cycle of giving and receiving happiness enriches life far beyond what solitary joy could achieve. Sharing happiness also provides resilience in times of hardship. When challenges arise, those who have cultivated strong bonds of shared joy are better supported and more capable of enduring difficulty. The happiness invested in others comes back as comfort, encouragement, and strength during darker seasons. In this way, shared happiness is not just an emotional luxury but a foundation for stability and well-being. Practical ways to grow happiness through sharing are within everyone's reach. Start by practicing presence, truly listening to others, valuing their experiences, and celebrating their moments of joy. Offer sincere compliments and express gratitude often. Engage in acts of service, no matter how small, for they remind you that your life has meaning beyond yourself. Make space for laughter, for play, and for connection. Each of these practices turns personal joy into shared joy, which in turn magnifies and sustains it. Ultimately, happiness grows when shared with others because joy is not meant to be a solitary possession. It thrives in connection, in kindness, in the simple recognition that life is richer when experienced together. By sharing happiness, you not only brighten the lives of those around you, but also multiply the joy within yourself, creating a life filled with meaning, abundance, and human warmth